Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. I just can't get into Rogue One, man. I think the characters are kind of bland. You don't really care about anybody. And yeah, just didn't do it for
Yeah.
me. And it doesn't. Do you feel that it leads into New
Star
Hope?
Wars. I was just
Yeah,
about to. I'm glad you brought that up.
yeah,
Here's the thing.
Mhm.
I think you were saying the big thing was like he catches her and like you're part of the I'm on a diplomatic mission
Yeah.
and you're a rebel and a spy.
I think yeah, because like my biggest thing is that they're at the Battle of Scarif. They're there.
Yeah.
They're inside the ship. They're attached to the inside of the Rebel Star Cruiser. Like they're inside it.
Yeah, their ship is inside the rebel ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they detach and they fly away.
Yeah.
And then it's
And
just
they try to get away.
Oh, we're just a diplomatic Alderaan. No, you're inside a Rebel Star Cruiser fighting and firing on Scarif. You think you like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, here's my takeaway from it. One, it's almost like if you get pulled over by the cops and you've done something wrong, you've done something bad, and you know the cop has the option to disappear you, shoot you, kill you, whatever. Do you just cop and admit to everything, or do you try to come up with some sort of lie or some sort of whatever so you can try to get out of it? I feel like naturally you would try to get out of it. Like she didn't know that, Darth Vader was like literally standing on the ruined deck watching the ship fly away. So he's like, okay, I see the ship. I got your ID number, your license plate, whatever. I'm gonna come and get you. Like to them, I think she's gonna say whatever she has to say to get out of this. And her only real power was the fact that she was, a quote unquote princess, whatever it means in this world, part of the Senate, part of like essentially like, I don't know, like some sort of UN-esque kind of person. That's her only thing. Like I'm someone, important. So you can't just do whatever you want to do to me, because the Senate was still in effect at this point in time. There were still rules and laws and all this kind of stuff going into place. It was only later on that, in that same movie that Palpatine gets rid of the, puts the kibosh on the Senate. So as far as, they're concerned, like the rules and everything are still in effect and blah, blah, blah. I think she played the only card she had. She could either try to fight him or she could lie and be like, I didn't do anything. You got to prove it. You can't prove anything. So what else? I mean, what else could she do?
I mean, I don't think, it's just like these guys were like shooting at Vader. They had the disc, they handed it through the door, it flew off. They boarded them, they're fighting, firing at each other. And then we're a diplomatic from Alderaan, but you're firing on the Empire's forces. Like,
well, I mean, if they're getting attacked too, I mean, what are they supposed to do? I mean, I don't know.
Like if you are a diplomatic,
Yeah.
if you're trying to play the part of a diplomatic, you wouldn't have been firing at the stormtroopers as they came in.
I mean, unless they're firing at you, then you got to defend yourself.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Diplomats.
Well,
I think
the only other thing they could have done, they could have tried to fight and get away, because maybe they would have fought and overpowered them or done whatever, and they could have gotten away. If that doesn't work, you have to play all the cards in your deck. So to me, that's all she was doing, was just playing the last card she thought she could play. It did not work. She tried to play it and it failed.
I think for me, they should have just sent the plans through the machine, like through on the planet. They send the plans up, and the planet gets blown up. We don't need to see it. We don't need to see it physically get onto the ship and given to Leia at the end of Rogue One. I think they were trying to force, let's make it connect. Let's make it connect. It'd be cool if you see Leia's face at the end of this, because they'll be like, oh, it's perfect. It matches up perfectly. Just don't show that at all. Like I think that
I don't know. I think the tie-in. I think people like the tie-in. I like that.
It's all fan service, and it doesn't really line up as well as people think it does. I think it's not. I don't know. I don't think that's a smart. I don't know. Like as a diplomatic person in Alderaan, like, do you think everyone else is stupid?
Like I said, she's got to do whatever she can do.
It does. I mean, to me, in my opinion, it does not line up. It's really like, why are you on a ship that's firing on Scarif, stealing the plans? Why are you attached to that ship that's firing on Scarif, stealing there to steal the plans? Why are you there? Where's Alderaan at in here? You're not near Alderaan.
Right.
You're inside this
Maybe
ship.
she was on her way to Alderaan, or she came from Alderaan. She met up with these guys. She's a dignitary. She was just going around making the rounds.
No, you're in a ship that's firing on the Empires, trying to steal plans. You're inside that ship.
You know why she was inside that ship? She was coming from Alderaan, talking to these people, and all of a sudden the Empire shows up. and started just beating them up.
The Empires don't show up. They went to Scarif. They went to Scarif to fire
They
on
went
Scarif.
to Scarif on a
to try to
diplomatic
steal-
mission.
To steal the plans.
On a diplomatic mission.
It is not. That's
and then they get
super-
jumped by the Empire. What else can they do?
No, this is like that's a Disney thing where they're like, oh, people are gonna love this because Leia's in it and Darth Vader does a lightsaber battle and everyone's gonna love it because it lines up. They're not asking questions about it. It's not well done.
It really is not. Gold. Let me ask you this: How? Because I was thinking about this for a minute. So we see R2D2 and C-3PO are on the ground at Yavin when they all take off to go to Scarif. They show R2D2 and C-3PO in Rogue One.
Oh, they do?
We see him briefly.
Okay.
It was just more of a fan service.
Yeah.
Hey, you remember these guys? And then in A New Hope, they're on board Leia's ship. So I was trying to do the numbers on that. So when everybody left to attack the planet or whatever, R2D2 and C-3PO got on a ship, right? This had to happen. They got on a ship. And Princess Leia was there at Yavin, whatever that place is called.
Yeah.
And they got on board her ship because they're on board Leia's ship in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Right? So how did they go from being on the base into Leia's ship?
Yeah.
Leia was there on the ground and she flew with them. Did she meet them later somewhere? Like I'm trying to do the math from them being on the planet to them being on her ship. So maybe the droids, they flew over with everybody else. They attacked. And then Princess Leia's ship docked with them and said, hey, what's going on? And then they went over and they got on board Leia's ship. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. How did that work? How did that happen?
Yeah, that's also a good question.
Yeah, somebody answer that. Somebody, how did Rogue One and New Hope, do they link up?
Do they link up? Yeah, tell us what your guys' thoughts are. Yeah.
and connect C-3PO and R2D2 to Leia's ship.
Yeah, exactly.
From where we see them in Rogue One to where we see them in A New Hope.
Yeah, let us know. Because it seems like me and Mark are still on the opposite sides of this thing. I don't like Rogue One. Mark seems cool with Rogue One.
Right.
So let us know what your guys' thoughts are. I know a lot of people like Rogue One. I understand that. It's successful, made a lot of money, and has a lot of good reviews. Everyone seems to love it. But I think it was a very fan servicey movie, and it didn't really have a lot of depth to it. And Andor gave it depth. Andor, the series, gave it depth, I think. But yeah, I don't know. That's just my opinion, and it doesn't line up with episode 4 very well. That shit pisses me off every time I watch it back to back. It doesn't make sense.
We're mad about it.
So yeah, I watched the end of Rogue One into
right into Star Wars,
into New Hope, because I was watching I was watching the Armies Declassified ones, or the ones that like are before. Remastered, but brought back to before the special editions.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, let me just watch the Rogue One real quick.
There you go.
Here's another point that I got to bring up.
Okay.
All right. So Vader goes up to Leia and is like, several transmissions have been beamed to this vessel. Like, I know you're lying because several transmissions have been beamed to this vessel. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not what happened in Rogue One. Literally, they handed a physical disc through the thing. So it should have been like, no, you're lying because I saw them hand a disc through the machine onto your ship. Not, you're lying because several transmissions have been beamed to the ship. And I was like, no, it's not. It doesn't work.
Maybe some transmissions were beamed in between because when she's leaving, she was probably radioing Alderaan. Radio. Yes, radio.
No, the transmission has been beamed from Scarif to the ship.
Yeah, in communication with. There is back and forth. He's like,
I
hey,
hate
buddy.
that you're trying
and then someone else is like, hey, buddy.
That you're trying to justify this.
It all makes sense,
It does
man.
not add up. It does not match.
It's gold.
It does not match. It's not. No, it does not match at all. That shit is.
You gotta agree to disagree.
So it does not match up. I'm gonna. That's the hill I'm dying on. If I'm dying on any hill.
That's the one.
Anything that I've ever said, even above Man of Steel being the greatest superhero movie of all time.
Oh, geez.
I will die on the hill that Rogue One and New Hope do not match up.
Crap.
They do not line up. And watch it again and tell me that they do.
I didn't know you took it that seriously.
I'm that serious about it. I don't mess around with Star Wars. Star Wars is very serious to me, and this shit is not. It doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I mean they definitely forced it in, and I see why they did it. It's a it's a kind of a cool connection, I suppose, when it goes right into like Star Wars, classic Star Wars. So I see why they did it. Yeah, maybe they could have done it better. I mean, maybe they didn't even have to do it.
That's one of the things that if they were to do it, I wish they would have just taken the care to be like, well, let's just make it as accurate as possible and make it as seamless as possible. When instead it's just like, oh, we're just going to throw it in there and everyone's going to love the spectacle of it and no one's going to question it.
Yeah, because
when people that really do love it and care about it are going to question it. You know what I mean? So I think if they would have, I'm not standing as an issue with them doing it, just make it work.
Yeah.
Line it up. Make it like so that it meshes. You know what I mean? So
I will say that I still do like that movie better than most of the new Star Wars movies that have been out. I will still say that. And I do like that Darth Vader scene where Darth Vader's coming down the hallway.
I think that's what the issue with the connection is, though, is that they're like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to show a badass scene with Vader doing Vader shit, and everyone's going to love that.
I love it.
How it can, there's a disc. I don't know. They just say some stuff to each other. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But just badass Vader scene. Everyone's going to love that. That's dope.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. And they're just like, hey, we forgot to shoot the scenes.
Don't worry about it.
And they're like, ooh, well, let's just hide it behind the Vader scene. So I think that's what causes the issue is that they focus so much on that part just to give that fan servicey Vader thing.
Yeah. I mean, all of that would really be fan service.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that fan service because I like seeing Vader be a badass.
No, and
I love that.
And I'm enjoying that more now. The more that we see Vader in the modern stuff too, like in the Kenobi one, I liked Vader being as strong as he is. Vader is effing strong,
right?
And he would be stronger if he wasn't in the robot
right.
suit,
and we never see that in the original 3 movies we got. I never saw like why is he so scary other than he looks scary and he can choke you from across the room.
Yeah,
that's awesome. But why? I would have loved it if Vader became Vader. Like, here's another what I would have done different. I would have loved if Vader became Vader after like hunting down different Jedis.
Oh, okay.
And all the battles don't go the way he wants to, and he just gets beat up more and more and more until he has to be dressed up like crazy Darth Vader kind of thing. Not Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, got him, from the high ground kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if he earned it, if he was hunting down all these Master Jedis, going one-on-one with them or
taking
whatever the case may be and taking his licks, but still coming out on top.
Yeah.
That's a scary guy.
Yeah, that's true. He's
literally fighting the toughest people in the universe.
Yeah.
And he's still standing.
Yeah, that would even show us that he's the most powerful.
Exactly.
There's a Greg in Jedi Fallen Order at the very end, like you're fighting the second or the whatever sister, and like you beat her, you beat her, but like she's like kind of about to do some big stuff, and then Vader shows up, and he's devastating, and you have to just run away from Vader as Cal Kestis.
As that because
you throw stuff at him or you try to attack him, and he just like bats you away like you're a fly, and so it just turns out you just got to run away, and then when like Cal gets away, like the last scene is like he's like, I don't know what that was, but that was a monster. Like, I don't, and then that's how it ends. That's how the first game ends. It's like that's how you do it. Like I love Cal Kestis, my favorite character.
Yeah.
But against Vader, especially at that time in his life,
yeah.
Like Cal Kestis isn't a fully trained Jedi yet.
Right. I love that he says that's a monster.
Yeah, it's like something like I not exactly that, but he says something like that. I don't know what that was. Basically,
yeah.
And by the time you get to Jedi Survivor, Cal's a lot stronger, and he knows who Vader is at this point. And there's a great scene at the very end. I don't want to spoil too many things. I'm almost at the end of the game, but Seer, who is a former Jedi that kind of helps Cal in the first game, she fights him at the very end. And does some like a good fight. Yeah, because she's like become more. Because
powerful. I've seen that.
And Vader, obviously Vader wins because he's Vader and he has to be alive. But he walks away with his licks, and so like with that would be cool to see him go through that process a bit more. But point being though, I'm loving seeing how strong Vader is and how devastating he is, especially now they're able to build it out in the modern times.
Right.
But again, just make it fit. Make it fit.
It's not that bad.
Shut up, Mark. Gosh, it's so frustrating, dude. It's so evan frustrating that like nobody sees it. Gosh, damn, it's so glaring.
You're the only one, man.
Anyway.